Hey there, YouTube. Today I want to talk about why I eat a high raw vegan version of a plant-based diet. I get why all the time. Why about this and that and the other, the specifics of it. So I thought rather than just always addressing each specific, just address the big why. Why I follow the particular version of a plant-based diet and why I follow it like I do. Because to tell you the truth, I haven't really found any peers out there. I haven't really, that's why I've had to kind of do this thing on my own, and I like it that way. I do my own research. I figure it out as I go. I take a little bit here, I take a little bit there. Because I don't find too many people, I haven't found many examples for me to look to. I don't see many people that do it like I do. Because like I say, like I'm always telling you, everything I do is for my health. Everything I do is whether I might be, and hey, I'm fallible. I'm not saying like this is the way, this is the path. Notice I say why I eat what I do. So, take it with a grain of salt. But, I've, the cleaner, one of the biggest reasons I found early on in this lifestyle, and I think it would work for a lot of these people that are always talking about they're not hungry, they're not, or actually that they're not full, or they need this, or they need that, or blah 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 blah, and it's because of just what they're eating. The cleaner you eat, the more you can eat. Repeat that after me. The cleaner you eat, the more you can eat. A lot of this food that people throw out, oh, but this is healthy, this and that, like the oils. Oil is solid fat. Oil is just packed condensed calories. So, like I say, well, but I eat oil, it's healthy, we'll eat it. But you're not getting much bang for your buck out of that. You're getting a lot of fat, you're getting lots of calories in there, but it's not doing that much to fill you up. Fruit, greens, that kind of stuff, you can pretty much eat those limitless. I have to actually work to get some extra calories in there. So the cleaner you eat, the more you can eat. But I need to get my calories. So that's why I've always talked about, and that's why you notice I say high raw vegan. I'm not obsessed. I never have been. I get that a lot. When I'm on Instagram and I happen to show one of the cooked meals that I eat, there's always somebody that bumbles out and says, oh, you're not raw anymore, or, oh, I thought you were raw. Look, I have never changed my philosophy or my thinking since I started this lifestyle. Go back through all my videos. And I've eaten fully raw before. I ate fully raw for long periods of time in Costa Rica, but that has never been my main thing. That I've never strived to be 100% raw. Oh, raw is law, none of that kind of stuff. So it's always about health and nutrition for me. And the reason being is my particular situation. Listen, you got to make decisions for yourself. Don't sit around arguing with people or debating things or this and that. You do your research, you do your study, and you figure what works out for you, and, let the chips or let it fall where it may. Something like that, that's saying. I'm 55 years old. I abused the shit out of myself for a lot of years. I had a friend stop by yesterday that was passing through going back home and got to telling some old stories. And when I tell those old stories, I just realize how bad I was. And like perception, like anybody that's seen me through this medium, anybody that, knows me now pretty much has not seen the old Jack. So when you don't understand, your perception is what you've seen of me now. And when I talk about my crazy days, I think a lot of people are like, yeah, well, I'm sure he did a little bit. No, I was crazy as you know what. So I did a lot of damage to my body. I did a lot of binge drinking. And when I talk about binge drinking, I'm not talking about this little candy ass definition of binge drinking that they use around today and around college campuses today. Binge drinking, Jesus, what they call binge drinking now was a typical lunchtime for me. No, seriously, I mean, when I talk about binging, I would go for 4 and 5 days in a row. I'm not talking about getting drunk 5 nights in a row. I'm talking about drinking all day and night for 4 and 5 days. Send your body into shock. What do you want to eat when you're treating your body like that? You do one of two things. I went through periods where I didn't eat anything at all, and I was probably a malnourished drunk. But most of the time, I wanted grease. I wanted junk. No, oh, that next day the hangover hits. I want a burger. I want a greasy burger. I don't want a good burger. I want a burger. I want some fried onion rings, or I want some chicken wings with some blue cheese. Point being, I've done a lot of damage to my body, and when I first got to this lifestyle, I just stumbled into the vegan thing, the raw vegan thing, during my doing my research for just trying to improve my health. Like I say, I've been a drunk for 30 years, been living bad, and I knew I was going to have to deal with that or pay for that one day. So I just started, doing a lot of research. One thing led to another, bing, bang, boom. So it's always nutrition over raw for me. It was good my friend that came through last night, she's vegan, so we got talking about some of this stuff, and we just were shaking our heads and just laughing at the people that do any little trick to stay raw. Like, I cooked some sweet potatoes yesterday, and we're sitting there talking, and I'm like, there's actually people out there that think that it is healthier to eat something that's raw and have a cup full of cashews in their dressing recipe over some plain sweet potatoes like I'm going to eat. That's insane. That's asinine. At that point, the person actually probably needs to talk to somebody. But like I say, once again, this is for me. This is how I eat. You can eat anything you want. I told her I'm not passionate about what other people eat. You can go out and cut a piece of rubber off your tire and eat it for all I care. I mean, it's not going to do anything to me, but I do want to put the best information out there too, and just kind of like point you in directions. That's why I've never really gotten into, oh, do this program, do that, do this for lunch, do this for that. I just kind of like to give you some information and point you in the direction of good information. And when I say some of this stuff, and when I talk about cooked food versus raw or how I mix it in, nothing has changed though. Nothing has changed except people's perceptions. I still eat very, very high raw. It's not like, oh, I've changed drastically. Very high raw, most days up until, well, some days I'll have a cooked meal during the middle of the day instead of at the end of the day if I'm going to have it. But most days it's just tons and tons of raw food. I mean, today I've already had 4 mangoes and some bananas, and going to have a green smoothie in a little while. So I'm not throwing raw under the bus. I'm not throwing raw into the bus. I just don't I've never liked this unhealthy obsession with the raw part of it since the very beginning. And we talked about all the people that we've seen come and go that aren't doing it anymore. I'm like, hey, did you hear? Do you know so-and-so? They're not even vegan anymore. Not even vegan anymore. And I'm talking about somebody that when I first got into this lifestyle was the biggest dogs in the raw game. Talked all that raw is law shit. He was condescending. He knew it all. He was vibrating at a higher pace and ain't even vegan anymore. So see, like I say, this is what I do this thing for me. I'm not into, joining a team or being part of something. Another thing too is this, like I've talked about, I've battled a little bit of anxiety and getting in a fog this last 8 or 9 months, and I honestly, and I did a video on this a while back, I do not understand emotional eating or eating to comfort yourself. The only thing, listen to me, the only thing that has kept my head half straight and not pushed me completely over the edge is being clean. And that helps me. It just, like when your body is not receiving, you don't make good decisions. Our body, because it's been corrupted, wants things that aren't good for us. It wants things that a lot of times are diametrically opposed to what we need. Like we used to tell ourselves all these things. I remember doing it all the time back in the day. You get stressed out. Oh man, I'm stressed. I got to step outside and smoke a cigarette. Smoke a cigarette to take your stress away. It raises your heart rate. It gives you reactions in your body that does anything but calm you down. But yet our brain's been wired to do that hand to mouth. And some people probably have actually, fooled themselves into thinking it happens. Or, oh, it's a bad day at the office or you're going through something. What I used to do the most, it's been one of those days. I'm hitting the bar. And you go and you tell everybody around you how bad that day was, and you drink and you drink and you drink. And there's probably a very small window in there where the drinking makes you feel better, and maybe you forget for a minute, you feel good for a minute, but then you have a couple more, and then you get into your head about it, and then the next day you just wake up feeling like shit, and you still have the same problem to deal with. So the food in the situation I'm in right now, you know, being in a state I don't really care to be here, but making the best out of it. But the food, and I haven't been doing my yoga, which I need to get back to, but the food has just kept, it's the only centering thing for me. It's just kept me there. It's kept me there. And hey, once again, like I say, about to turn 56 next month, and I feel good all the time. About to come into March here. What have we got? About 3 more days, 4 more days. I think I'm going to do a little spring cleaning in March. I'm going to clean up even a little bit more. I'm going to do some specific protocols. I think I'm going to start doing the celery juice in the morning for a while, get those minerals in the body. Do a little work on the liver. Looking to get myself some cilantro plants here in the next week. But anyhow, that's why I do what I do. I just do what I do. I don't want to, you know, make a thing out of it, a program out of it, or all these deep explanations. It just works for me. I feel good. I got the energy to do what I need to do every day. You know, knock on wood, haven't been sick in ages. Now I'll be sick tomorrow. But anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. And I'll see you again in a couple of days. I got a few videos lined up. Peace.